Welcome to Rack of the Week 148. It's a new year, 2024. So with the new year comes changes. As you can see, I made the little border on the side of the screen smaller so we have more real estate to show the pool table. I've got my Ghost Aimer down there. There's a new link, a new website for my book, A Shortstop on Straight Pool. You used to get to it by typing in Shortstop on Pool, but it's been changed to Shortstop on Straight Pool. And you can see that on the left there. And if you type in Shortstop on Pool right now, it takes you to my website where I've got the Ghost Aimer in the rack and t-shirts and other things for sale. But that's going to change within a couple of weeks. The shortstoponpool.com website will be a catch-all for everything Shortstop on Pool, everything that I'm selling, training videos, links to YouTube and Instagram and everything else. It'll all be in one central location. And that's shortstoponpool.com, so that makes sense. And speaking of new things, lately you may have noticed in my straight pool play, I'm kind of experimenting more with a softer break shot. Historically, given fast equipment, polished balls, fast cloth, a lot of straight pool players are hitting the break shot harder. They want to spread the balls wide over the whole table. But I've been experimenting even with modern conditions like this diamond with some 860 HR cloth with a softer break shot. And to varying results, but I like it. It's kind of what we call old school. So rather than splattering the balls wide, I'm playing a lot more strategically and breaking open more clusters. This is a great example of that type of rack. Let's take a look. Let's get into the rack. So as you can see to start, I've got a pretty standard break shot, side of the rack break shot, and I'm going to hit this with a high ball now. In the old days, or a couple of weeks ago, I probably would have tried to use follow on the cue ball, hoping that the cue ball goes two rails out here, kind of back to center table. But you're going to notice I take some speed off from this shot. So in this case, the cue ball actually deflected up table, and then the top spin brought it back down table. Now these didn't open up very well. Generally, you're going to expect to get a shot this way into one of these balls, and I'm looking if the 15 goes in the side pocket, and it doesn't. So this isn't the best result, but I like the rest of the rack, and I make a great bake shot here to keep going. This is the 3-ball straight back, and the cue ball is going to come around back out into center table, I believe. Yeah, like that. So great shot, kind of a recovery shot, but these are 4.5-inch pockets. They're fairly accepting, and I had a really good angle on that. Now, from here, I'm looking at the 11. Do I have a shot on the 11 ball? And I don't. So I've got to shoot either the 15 ball or the 8. So I mentioned this is old school pool. We've got a huge cluster of balls in the center of the table. But we've got to shoot a rebreak or maybe a couple of rebreak shots. What we've got going for us is that there's balls on both sides of the table that go into these corner pockets, and that's what's typically going to happen, and that's why you want to bring your cue ball to center table, and that gives you an opportunity to open these up. Now, this is a rebreak shot because I don't know what my next shot is. I do not have an insurance ball, but I'm choosing the 8 because if I shoot the 15, I'm probably going to hit this 7, and I'm not sure if that's going to do much damage. The tightest cluster of these balls. So I'm shooting the 8 because I can go into these balls. I feel like I'm going to open things up and I'm going to get some movement to the cue ball. I don't want my cue ball to get stuck. And also the 15 might potentially become a break shot for the next rack. So let's take a look at the result of this. Now you don't want draw. You want to use kind of a center ball, maybe center right. See, so that your cue ball moves. You don't want to kill the cue ball. So a little bit fortunate here that I've got a shot on the 2. Obviously, that's the only shot you're going to shoot. This is what old school straight pool is like, in my opinion, and it's probably why modern players, it's kind of fallen out of favor with them, and that's that you often only have one shot to choose from, maybe 2 at the most. Whereas if you splatter these balls wide, you've got lots of shots to choose from. Here, I'm lucky to get a shot, and I only have one shot. So I'm going to play the 2 ball, play position for the 4, and the cue ball is naturally going to run into the 14. So I'd like to knock this 14 over so that it's clear of the rack. I don't want to tie it up in the rack, but I want to maintain a shot on the 4. So lots of control going on here, both in pocketing the ball and cue ball and the ball that I'm carrying into. The results are not good. I didn't get the 14 ball where I wanted, but I'm safe. I've got a shot on the 4 balls. Like I've mentioned in other videos, keep the cue ball alive, and I've got that. And I'm looking right now at this combination. So I probably have a shot on this ball, the 15, but that doesn't do anything for me. I do have a shot on the 4, but I'm pretty straight. So what shot am I going to go to next? If I don't play position for this 15 next, what am I going to shoot? So this is what I consider to be kind of a drawback from old school straight pool. You're often playing off from very slim margins here. But I do have a combination on this 14-7. You know how I feel about combinations, but this one's lined up pretty straight. And even if I get straight, I'll be okay. But I'd like an angle. Either angle will work, because if I get on this side, then I can bump this ball this way. If I get on this side of the combination, I can bump these balls. So that's definitely what I'm playing for. I'm looking at the angle. I don't think my cue ball goes to a rail, or does it? I don't remember. But I'm playing for that 14-7 combination. Okay, cue ball to the rail. So it looks like I've got an angle now to shoot the combination and bump this ball over here. And I'm thinking at this time also, that might become a key ball for this 15 break shot. Okay, so I'm not trying to splatter the rack still. This is old school straight pool, but I want you to look at what happened. Look at how productive that shot was, because now both of these balls go in this pocket. I have a shot on this ball this way. I can make this ball into a break shot, and the rack is almost completely open. That's one of the very cool things, one of the interesting things, one of the beautiful things about old school straight pool is it looks like there's no future, and 2 or 3 shots later, you've got a roadmap to the key ball. And that's a beautiful thing about straight pool. So let's see what happens next. Obviously, I'm going to shoot this 11 ball. Now I'm going to come look at my angle. Good. I do still have a couple of balls to open up. This cluster of 3 balls here need to be dealt with. So I'm probably trying to keep the cue ball up above the 114. Yeah, like that. Okay, so I decided to not even bump the 5. I just want to stay above. In other words, the shot line for the 114 is here. I want to be above that, because this is my problem area. So now I'm going to nudge. I'm choosing to shoot the 14. I'm probably too straight on the 1. And that's going to nudge these balls. I'm going forward with the cue ball. Just a soft nudge to get those balls open. And don't try to do too much with the cue ball. Let it roll forward. You know, the cue ball might have carried this way, and then I would shoot the 6 next. But you know you're going to get a shot there. And now all the balls are wide open. 7 balls on the table. This is just an ideal situation. So I'm kind of coming around to the values of old school straight pool. I think it's more difficult. You're often playing, I said, you're playing with slimmer margins on what your options are, but I don't know, there's a lot of value to this. So now I've got an angle on this stripe. I need my cue ball up here because both of these balls go into this pocket. So this is where I'm playing position. This 10 ball does go here, so very, very likely that's going to be my key ball for the 15 ball break shot. Doesn't have to be. I could break with the 5, but the 14 is a little bit lower, so that's what I'm going to prefer. So all you got to do here is get the cue ball up into that zone. I don't have a definitive pattern yet, but it looks like 2 rails forward like this is going to get me up there. And that gives you a clue to what I do next, because I also have a shot on this 5 on the side. And I'm looking at this. I can shoot the 8, but my cue ball is going to run into this 13. Now, if it does so, that means the cue ball should stop here. I'll have a shot on the 5 up in the corner or the side pocket. And you can see I'm really studying my options here. I don't like this. I take a look at if the 13 goes all the way. Oops, I lost my marker. If the 13 moves this way, let's say, do I have a shot on the 1 ball on the side? I take a look at that. And I don't. The 10 ball is blocking that 1 on the side. So right there, I'm looking at the 1 on the side. So he doesn't go. So I'm really figuring, what's my end pattern here? How am I going to work this? And I finally realize that the best shot now, because Now, if my cue ball, yeah, I'm going to shoot the 5 on the side. If my cue ball had come up here, then I think you'd see me shoot the 8, and I might come 2 rails out to get a shot on the 5. I might just send the cue ball up here for the 13 next, or do, and then I could shoot the 13 and just pop up here for the 5 in this corner. I think you see what I'm saying. There's lots of options here. But because my cue ball off from the 8 is running into the 13, I'm not going to shoot the 8. So I can shoot the 5, draw the cue ball to the rail and out, and if it stays over here, I'll have a shot on the 13 and the 8. If it comes up higher, I'll have a shot on the 1, and I can work it from there. So just keeping the cue ball under control. Don't bump into balls. Give yourself a good angle to get into a good end pattern. So now I'm almost straight on this 1 ball, I believe. Oh, no, I've got an angle. So now I'm going to come over to that position zone over here where I'll have a shot on both the 13 and the 8 into this pocket. I believe that's what I do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just a soft draw to the rail. Now I've got an angle. I'm cutting on the 8 ball to my left, or you could go either way. You can shoot the 13 and float forward, get an angle on the 8 to pop straight up here. Instead, I go this way with the 8 and get an angle on the 13 to come up here. Either way is fine. You just got to make sure you get to the right side of the ball. See, and I don't like this way because I could have easily ended up elevated over the 15 and had a much harder shot. So, but either way, this works well. Straight up here. Notice if you play back through this rack and watch how much the cue ball moved, I think that's another advantage of old school straight pool. I was able, all the balls were in the center of the table, so I was able to just plink my cue ball around and go back and forth this way and that. Easy, simple, 1 rail position. If the balls were scattered wide, then you're playing position for a ball to go up table, and you're playing position for a ball that's on the rail over here, and you're just moving your cue ball around a lot more. So that's a really good advantage to the old school way of playing, and I'm gonna keep experimenting with that. You've got it now. Here I'm looking at exactly where I'm gonna hit the rack, because if I'm not gonna be blasting the rack open, I really got to know so I can control the cue ball and know which balls are going to open, and that's important on this shot. Watch what happens. I'm taking some speed off of this. See that? Oh, no, I didn't take a lot of speed off that. I wanted to take speed off that. So I knew that I was hitting the center or the top side of that second ball in the corner. I was trying to simply draw my cue ball up to here. I was not trying to go to the head rail. So I could have hit that break shot even a little bit softer. And I'm going to show you why that's a good thing to do. But first, I've been working a lot on straight stroke drills and that type of thing, and longer shots. In the past, in the last, a few months ago, this shot might have given me a lot of difficulty. Watch the cue ball control and the accuracy of the 13 ball in the shot. Really soft stroke, and I got maximum control of the cue ball with a soft stroke. There's a lot to be said about that, and I'll be saying some about that in my video that's coming up soon about how to shoot straight. But I've really been working on that. In the past. I might have missed that 13 ball and really had a lot of trouble controlling the cue ball. It's important to have that soft stroke when you're shooting long shots so that you get that control. Anyway, I want to back up real quick and take a look at this break shot. I'm hitting the second ball from the bottom corner, okay? So the energy from the break shot's going to go into the 5. This is a very, very common pattern, and you don't notice it if you're blasting the balls. But if you're shooting old school with some control, here's what you're going to see. The 6 ball is in the most direct contact, or the energy is flowing directly from the 6 into the 5. You're going to see the 5 go straight to the bottom rail, and then the energy from that is going this way. You're going to see the 4 ball go to this rail. If I'm hitting this with the speed that I want to, those 2 balls might be the only balls that hit the rail. Watch the way that the balls open up. Watch the 5 and the 14. Did you see that? Now I paused it real quick. The balls are still moving, and I hit this too hard. It was the 1 ball, I think, that went to the bottom rail, not, or was it the 5? I think it was the 5. I think it was the 5. 5 has the most energy. It went to the bottom rail and is coming back up, and the 4 ball is gone over to this rail. If I had hit this with enough speed for the cue ball to stop here, okay, I don't have a lot of shot choices, but I have a shot on the 4 and a shot on the 10. I have a shot on 1 ball in each corner pocket. And then I have a cluster in the rack area and some other open balls. From this position, this is an old school straight pool rack, and you can manage these balls while keeping the cue ball under control, open up these clusters and get on your next break shot. So if I had hit this with a better speed, I would have had a very similar rack to the one that we just watched. Food for thought. Do with that what you will. Some of you are gonna want to adopt the old school style. I am starting to do it much more than I used to. I don't see anything wrong with opening the rack wide on modern equipment when you got polished balls and fast cloth and all that. Especially if you've got smaller pockets, you kind of want the balls wider open so you have more options. But 4.5-inch pockets, old school straight pool, that might be the way to go. Tell me what you think about that in the comments section. And remember, if you're going to play pool, play it straight. See you next week on Rack of the Week. Thanks. Bye.